I'm not here to make cuts. 4 words, that's all it took. Brooks Koepka stood in the fading light at PGA National, his 3 over 74 still burning in his memory, his putter having betrayed him for the 18th consecutive hole. A reporter asked the obvious question, what now? What happens when a 5-time major champion, the man who once made intimidation an art form, finds himself tied for 100th in his hometown event? Koepka didn't blink. He didn't soften. He delivered the coldest line of the year and walked away. No apologies, no excuses. Just a warning to everyone who thought the Predator had lost his teeth. Subscribe for the full story of Brooks Koepka's brutal honesty and what it means for his comeback. Brooks Koepka grew up in West Palm Beach. He now lives in Jupiter. PGA National is his home course, his backyard, the place where he should feel more comfortable than anywhere else on tour. When he teed off Thursday morning at the Cognizant Classic, the gallery that followed him was the biggest of the day. Friends, family, local fans who remember watching him dominate as a kid. This was supposed to be a celebration. It wasn't. Through 12 holes, Koepka was 1 under and hanging around. Not spectacular, but solid. Then the wheels came off. A 3-putt bogey on 13 from 28 feet, his 5-foot par attempt curling away inches in front of the cup. At the par 4 16th, the middle hole of the infamous bear trap, his approach finished just short of the green, 61 feet from the pin. His putt from there stopped 5 feet right of the cup, and his par putt spun out. Then the 17th hole ate him alive. His tee shot on the 188-yard par 3 clung to the left side of the green before rolling into a collection area. His chip thinned across the green and trickled toward the water. Koepka removed his right shoe and sock, rolled up his pants leg, stepped into the watery muck, and hacked the ball into the rough. From there, he chipped to 5.5 feet and sank the putt for double bogey. A par on 18 did nothing to salvage the round. When he signed for a 3 over 74, he was tied for 100th. The cut line was suddenly a very real concern. And then he did something that spoke louder than any score. He walked straight past the media, past the reporters waiting with questions, past the cameras hoping for a soundbite. No interviews, no explanation, just silence. For a man who has spent his entire career projecting confidence, swagger, and indifference to pressure, that silence was deafening.
Brooks Koepka has never been defined by his putter. Power off the tee, precision with his irons, a killer instinct that made 5 major championships look easy. Putting was always just adequate, good enough to win, never the story. Until now. At Torrey Pines, his first start back on the PGA Tour, the putter betrayed him. He lost nearly 4 strokes on the greens in the first round alone, ranking dead last in strokes gained putting. At the WM Phoenix Open, he switched putters for the first time in over a decade, abandoning the Scotty Cameron blade that had carried him through 5 majors for a tailor-made Spider Tour X mallet. The result? He lost another 1.68 strokes putting and missed the cut. 5 of the 6 PGA Tour winners in 2026 had used that same Spider putter. Scotty Scheffler, Jacob Bridgman, the list was growing. The equipment wasn't the problem. I didn't know where exactly I was hitting it, Koepka admitted before the Cognizant Classic. When you change putters, speed becomes another thing, and I felt like the speed was slightly off. So he practiced 300 putts with the new mallet before ever taking it to competition, 2 full weeks of adjustments. He arrived at PGA National convinced it would be better. It wasn't. Thursday's first round was a putting clinic in all the wrong ways. 4 birdie attempts from 9 to 11 feet on the first 4 holes, all missed by a whisker. A 28-footer on 13 that led to a 3-putt bogey. By day's end, he ranked 111th in strokes gained putting, losing 2.16 strokes to the field. Daniel Berger, his Florida State teammate and playing partner, tried to stay optimistic. One thing I know is he can turn it around in an instant. But turning it around would require something Koepka hadn't shown since leaving LIV, consistency with a flat stick that felt foreign in his hands. That night, he and his team spent 15 minutes talking through the problem and 30 minutes working on a fix. The adjustment was subtle, almost invisible to anyone watching. He'd been letting his hands drift too far back at address, creating an inconsistent feel off the face. They weren't matching yesterday, Koepka explained before the Cognizant Classic. Once I got them forward, I felt like I really saw the line better and could see where it's got to take off on the right line. Thursday morning, everything changed.
Friday morning at PGA National felt different. Brooks Koepka arrived early, alone, before the galleries filled the fairways. He worked through his warm-up with the kind of focus that only comes from desperation. The adjustment from the night before, hands forward, eyes locked on the line, was already becoming muscle memory. When he stepped to the first tee, the scoreboard still showed 74. Tied for 100th, the cut line looming like a guillotine. One bad round away from his second missed cut in 3 starts since returning to the PGA Tour. He birdied the first hole, then the 4th, then the 6th, 7th, and 8th. By the turn, he was 5 under for the day, 2 under for the tournament, and suddenly very much alive. The putter that had betrayed him for 18 holes was suddenly singing. A 12-footer on 4, a 9-footer on 6, a 7-footer on 7, an 8-footer on 8, each one dropping with the kind of certainty that had defined his major championship runs. "It was nice to see," Koepka said afterward. "I felt like I hit a lot of good putts yesterday that didn't go in, but once I got that adjustment yesterday afternoon, it was nice to see them roll in." The bear trap, which had devoured him on Thursday, played at 1 under on Friday. He birdied 17, the same hole where he'd taken a double bogey the day before, and closed with a 5 under 66. When he signed his card, the numbers told a different story. From 100th to 19th, from the cut line to the weekend, from a man drowning to a predator who remembered how to swim. "The ball was just starting on my line," he said, almost relieved. "Once I got them started, I knew they had a chance, and a couple of them went in." The transformation was immediate, dramatic, and exactly what everyone expected from a 5-time major champion playing in his hometown. But as he walked off the 18th green, the media waited with a different question. Not about the 66, not about the comeback, about what he said the day before, or rather, what he didn't say. The silence, the tension, the look on his face when the round ended. Koepka leaned against the fence and let the question hang for a moment. "I wasn't in a talking mood yesterday," he admitted. "Simple as that. I wasn't happy. I'm still not happy with where I'm at overall, but today was a step. That's all it is, a step." The predator wasn't back yet, but he was hunting again.
The moment came after the round, when the cameras were off and the questions should have been routine. A reporter asked Brooks Koepka the obvious. After a 5 under 66 that saved his weekend, what does this mean for the rest of the tournament? Koepka's answer was anything but routine. "I'm not here to make cuts." 4 words, delivered with the same cold indifference he once used to dismiss entire fields at majors. No smile, no softening, just a statement of fact, the kind that only a 5-time major champion can make without sounding arrogant. The reporter pressed, "What are you here for?" Koepka finally smiled, just slightly, just enough. "You know what I'm here for." He walked away. The clip spread within hours. By Saturday morning, it had been viewed millions of times. The golf world split, as it always does with Koepka, into admirers and critics. The admirers saw the old Brooks, the man who once said he didn't care about winning regular tour events because, at the end of the day, it's the majors. The predator who built a Hall of Fame career on believing he was better than everyone else. "That's the Brooks we've been waiting for," one fan tweeted. Cold, confident, unapologetic. The critics saw something else. A man whose world ranking had plummeted to outside the top 200. A man who just shot 74 in his hometown event. A man who needed a Friday rally just to make the cut. "Talk is cheap," another post read. "Win something first." Koepka didn't respond to either. He didn't need to. The line was out there, hanging in the air, daring anyone to challenge it. On Saturday, he backed it up, sort of. Another 2 under 69 moved him up the leaderboard, but not enough to contend. He finished the tournament at 4 under, tied for 32nd. Respectable, but not threatening. Not the statement he wanted. But the line wasn't about this tournament. It was about everything. His return to the PGA Tour, his $85 million sacrifice, his belief that at 35, with a rebuilt knee and a recalibrated putter, he could still be the man who won 5 majors in 6 years. I'm not here to make cuts. Translation, I'm here to win. I'm here to remind you who I am. I'm here to prove that the Predator still has teeth. The golf world is still waiting to see if he's right.
The 66 happened. The 32nd place finish happened. The line went viral and faded, replaced by the next controversy, the next drama, the next manufactured outrage. But the question that follows Brooks Koepka everywhere now won't fade so easily. What comes next? The immediate answer is Bay Hill, the Arnold Palmer Invitational, one of the signature events Koepka can't just walk into anymore. He needs a sponsor exemption, needs to prove he's worth the invitation, needs to show that a 5-time major champion with a 200-plus world ranking still moves the needle. Those $20 million signature events, they want certain players, Koepka acknowledged. It's just reality. The reality is harsher than he lets on. The tour's returning member program didn't just cost him $85 million. It cost him status, exemptions, the automatic entries that players of his caliber take for granted. Every tournament now is a negotiation, a plea, a reminder that the game moves on whether you're ready or not. But Koepka has never cared about easy. The Players' Championship looms after Bay Hill, then the Masters, where he's won twice. Augusta National doesn't care about world rankings. It cares about history, and Koepka's history there includes 2 green jackets and the kind of cold-blooded Sunday performances that define legacies. I know what I'm capable of, he said quietly after the Cognizant Classic. I've done it before, I'll do it again. The confidence is real. The question is whether the body and the putter will cooperate. The knee that bothered him at Torrey Pines is fine. The putter that betrayed him for 18 holes is suddenly working. The swing that produced 5 majors never really left. What's missing is the rhythm, the comfort, the belief that every shot matters because every shot leads to another trophy. The first week, I'll be a little bit nervous, he admitted before his return. There's a lot going on than just golf. That's the part the viral line doesn't capture, the human part. The part where a 35-year-old man who gave up $85 million to come home, who walked through the bear trap with his pants rolled up and his pride on the line, who stood in the fading light at PGA National and told the world, I'm not here to make cuts, that man is still figuring out who he is now. The Predator still has teeth, but he's learning that hunting in a new jungle requires different instincts. Bay Hill, Sawgrass, Augusta. The next few weeks will tell us whether Brooks Koepka is still a threat or just a memory. He knows what he's capable of. Soon the rest of the world will too. For more coverage of Brooks Koepka in the biggest stories in golf, subscribe and hit the notification bell.